starting this. Oh, I need one more thing. Are we?
We
We're
can
gonna.
just start informally today, you know?
Okay, let's do that. Welcome
Yeah.
to the Life Writing Podcast. So say as much as you can remember, and I will chime in.
We're married authors, and screenwriter Stephen Barnes and Tanana Reeve do talk about uh we've only been
Writing in
doing it for
stressful
2 years.
times,
Writing during stressful times, breaking into Hollywood,
and
and
balancing
something
life.
about life.
That's right. And every episode, every week, as long as off as we can get here, we'll be sharing you the very best tips we have on how to do that. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, are we ever needing those tips right now? So
I
it's good
mean,
for us to go over them.
art is life-saving during times like this.
Yes,
The
it is.
creation of it and the appreciation of it.
So, Tananarife, why don't you get started since you are here for a shorter period of time today?
Well, I will go ahead then and hold on. I'm not quite ready to share my screen, but in a second I am going to share my screen to show you the stunning, beautiful, and gorgeous cover of my upcoming new book, Maisie Wood, which is derived from the world of my short story incident at Bear Creek Lodge, which won a World Fantasy Award a couple years ago. Steve and I wrote a script called Bear Creek Lodge. Um, and I novelized the script, expanding the chapters in historical Hollywood. And they're saying it's S.A. Cosby's All the Sinners Bleed meets Percival Everett's Erasure. And I was like, what? Erasure? But that's the book that American Fiction was adapted from. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh, well, when my protagonist was a child in Hollywood in the 1920s, she had to be groomed to fit the mold of what Hollywood saw Black people as. And there's a lot of that kind of erasure um, going on. And anyway, they're trying to pivot me toward thrillers because they perceive that it will have a larger audience, but it's a horror novel. In fact, it's creature survival horror, as a matter of fact, with intermittent chapters based in old Hollywood. And I had the best time writing it. And hopefully, I mean, I love the reformatory. I will always love the reformatory, but I am especially pleased that I was able to work on a project that was just not so depressing every day. You know, there are different kinds of tragedies that happen in that unfold in Hollywood, but they don't so often sort of cut to the heart of survival in the way the reformatory did. Like these children could die right here. Whereas in Hollywood, it's more like, you know, you're not getting paid what you deserve and you're being stereotyped. And it's a little bit different. I mean, you're going to get some money, but you're being stereotyped. And not that those kinds of that pain doesn't have lasting repercussions, which is the whole point of this story, but it's more like a slow motion train wreck
You know what?
rather
You know
than
what really gets to me is when you meet with an executive who says that they understand blackness better than we do because they
uh,
understand the Hollywood image. We're not the
yes.
Hollywood image. We're actual people. So
Right.
it's like, wow, that's so narrow and brittle. And this is
It
exactly
is.
what you have to go through. And you will find that if you try to make it in the entertainment business, you're going to run into stereotypes about a lot of things. You know, military people run into stereotypes about the military.
Well,
Um,
remember when oh gosh, and now the comic's name, Aziz Ansari was doing Master of None and did the episode about Indian actors at auditions being forced to do the accent, and I had never even thought about the fact that most of these actors don't have the accent. Same with East Asian actors. They don't talk like that, but
Wasn't
that's
that what Robert Townsend was talking about in Hollywood Shuffle?
yes, it's
You
the
know,
same, but
you have to play the role to get the thing. And a lot of
yeah,
women have complained about needing to emphasize their secondary sexual characteristics in order to get jobs. It's you
right.
know, it's
You can't just be a human being. You got to
yeah,
be,
it just being a human being isn't always
TNA.
enough if the role calls for something that is specific along race or gender or ethnicity or class or whatnot. So you have to be capable of working within that, but at the same time keeping your soul. So it's like, how do you do that? It's not different from what you do to keep your soul in the world as a whole.
So I will have to run because I'm preparing to give a talk at UCLA. Every once in a while, they haul me into the campus and ask me to do some actual campus service. So my department chair and I are doing a presentation on sinners before screening today on the campus, and it's almost like
Does
2 hours
anybody
for me
have
to get.
a quick question for Tananari before she goes to be famous? Raise your hands if there's something you want to say, because you got her here right now, but she's going to have to
Oh,
go.
and let me put, I mean, not for nothing, People Magazine did a cover reveal for my story, my novel rather, in today's People. So I'm going to put the link to that in chat. That's not a flex, that's just facts. This is something that just happened this morning. And I've never had a cover reveal in People Magazine, much less months and months and months before the book comes out. So I'm just kind of pinching myself at this moment, and I know nothing lasts forever, so I'm not taking it for granted. But right now, I think we are set up for Maisie Wood to do very well.
Yes, I
And
agree.
that's exciting, just give people an escape from the late and current unpleasantness and hopefully a little strength for survival in the real world, which is what we
It's
could all
certainly a
use.
spoonful of honey to help the medicine go down.
That's for sure. There's only so seriously you can take a creature horror. You know,
It's true.
it's half Tubi movie and half like scathing indictment of old Hollywood.
And if you
But
want to see
anyway,
what that's like, then you'll have to
that
get
was my
Maisie
jam.
Wood.
I wish I could have just read it instead of writing it, but it is what it is.
It
All
is
right,
what
you
it is.
guys. Well, take care. Have a good session. Honey, I love
All right.
you. Don't
I
forget
love
to
you
tell
too.
them why
I
you have
will.
that patch so people won't think I one in the
No,
eye. Okay, bye.
I criticized Maisie Wood and she slugged me. It's as simple as that. You know, she's got a mean left hook. So, what happened is that I slept in a contact lens and it abraded my cornea a little bit. And so I'm having to take antibiotics and stuff like that. I'll start taking a steroid on Monday. But, the eye is very red. I didn't feel like, uh, giving you that to stare at. But in general, all is well. Maybe I feel like looking at the different health challenges I've had, I feel like I've been driving a car for 250,000 miles, and it's time for really serious overhaul and checkup of every part of the systems because some stuff just wears out after a while. So I'm just dealing with that, and it's just life. So anyway, hello everybody, and we're continuing the same week of thinking that sometime this year, I mean, if things work out well, sometime this year, we're going to go into pre production on the feature of The Keeper, our short film. If this happens, then the question I have to ask myself is who do I need to be to do this successfully? And then I have to believe that within me is the seed of that. And so my task is not to worry about what's happening at company A or company B. I've got people to worry about those things. They've got people who are supervising those things. I have to ask myself, am I the guy that can do it? Could I sit in a meeting and tell people with confidence that they could trust me with seven figures? You know, I don't even want eight figures. I mean, it's like we want to have do a movie where we feel like we've got a really good chance of it paying off. That means that the budget has to be more reasonable than that, but that's still a lot of money. Am I okay with that? Can I shake their hand without shaking? Can I answer their questions spontaneously? And then once that happens, can Tanana or even I step into the space of actually doing the things necessary to do this successfully? It's really looking at all of those different things. And the question, how do I prepare myself for this? Well, it's the same thing that we've been telling you, that we've been begging you to do, which is to take control of the first hour of your day. And until you can manage a full hour, take control of the first 5 minutes. That is less than 1% of your day. And here's the thing. I'm going to read you a little mini essay that I did, and then I'd like you to ask me questions. that relate to it and relate to what projects that you have. Because the way this is going to work best is if you have specific goals. I want to do this with my body. I want to do this with my heart, my relationships, my sense of self love. And I want to do this with my mind, my career, in other words. So if you've got specific goals, it's much easier for us to tell you what you can do to use these principles to be the best version of yourself, the version of yourself that can every day do the things necessary to optimize your chance of getting the thing. So that's the thing. What is the thing that you want? What is the kind of person that could do these things? What is the process that they would go through to do it? Are you doing that or not? How do you do every day? In other words, if I say I want to have a book, I want to write a book, I want to publish it in 2 years, then by the end of a year, I need to have finished it, right? And that means that if it's a 365-page book, I need to do at least one polished page per day. Ideally, you do 2 or 3 pages a day, which then gets you time for the polishing and the marketing and the other things that you need to do. By looking at this ahead of time, you can actually say, I need to write it, I need to rewrite it, I need to polish it, I need to research it, I need to market it, I need to shop it. What are the things I need to do? Then every day you just do that day's worth of it, keeping your eye on the long term, but mostly just did I do what I needed to do today? So the essay that I wrote first goes over what the first 5 minutes is, and that's what we're going to focus on. It's one, you breathe, you wake up, before you even sit up, you breathe and give thanks for life. You find your heartbeat and give thanks for the love in your life. You connect to the child part of you and love that child enough to be willing to be a responsible parent. You look into your mind, you look for the light behind your eyes, and you give thanks for hope and opportunity. Connect to your elder self, the self that you will be, on your deathbed, beyond all ego, but also beyond all fear. How will you use magic? Think about the steps of the magic formula, and you're going to use it to improve by just 1% this week. If you're a beast, you could aim at going faster than that, but 1% per week is doable, and everybody can swallow that. The magic formula, steps of the magic formula, are you need a map or model, somebody who has already accomplished the thing that you want, so that you can get a sense of the recipe necessary to make that meal. What are the actions you need to take to move yourself forward by 1% this week? What is the gratitude that you already have for the things you already have? Because gratitude is the antidote for fear and anger. The more gratitude you have, the more faith you can have that tomorrow could be better than today. It's very simple. The I is intention. Are your goals clear? They need to be clear. And remember, goals are dreams with deadlines. When do you want to do this by? Then you study the people who've done it and you see, is that timeline reasonable? Give yourself, 10% or something like this, wiggle room. And then you set out and you begin to do the things. How do you eat an elephant? One forkful at a time. The things that you will do today are also measured by the C in magic. The C is your child self. It's that self that started the journey called life. And you want to note its connection. You want to know whether or not the child part of you is happy with who you are and what you're doing. Is it ashamed of you? Is it proud of you? Your ability to find joy in life will be partially in being in alignment with that child self. Your ability to face death with courage will be based on whether or not you listen to what the elder part of you had to say. And your job as an adult is to navigate the territory between the dreams of your childhood and the clarity of your eldership. Write down the 3 things you're going to do by 1 o'clock in order to move yourself forward today so that you're getting that 1% a week. Write it down, and then you do 1 sun salutation. Now, sun salutations are really ground engagements. So really what we're saying is go down to the ground with consciousness, get back up with consciousness. If you will study sun salutations, you will see, and you get tons of them on YouTube, you will see that the pattern is nothing more than a pattern of going down to the ground and getting up. That's how you protect your ability to live independently. That's how you protect the body that's going to carry you through life. It also seals your intentions into the physical self, which is the vehicle to accomplish. And you can do all of that in 300 seconds. 300 seconds. Connect with your breathing, give gratitude for life. Connect to your heartbeat, be grateful for love and loving yourself. Connect to the light behind your eyes and see the future that you want. Think about the model, the actions, the gratitude, the intention, and your child self. Write it down. Do one ground engagement, one sun salutation. If you will do that, you're on the path that we're talking about here. It takes you 5 minutes or less to do the minimum, and it will change your entire day. By the time you have done this for 1 week, you will see the difference. By the time you've done it for 6 weeks, other people will see the difference, and they will start asking you what in the hell you're doing, because you will not be the same person. It is my position that if I can do that, plus the warrior walk exercises, my blessing dance with Tananarive to get us all on the same page and aligned, be aligned with my son Jason, do every day the things I need to do that day. Check over it at night. Did I do things? Great. Go to sleep dreaming about a wonderful day tomorrow. That if I do that, I will become the person who can do the thing. That's the theory. That's what I'm working for, and all y'all are going to see in real time whether or not this works. You're going to be able to see it. You'll know. Did it work or didn't it? So I'm betting my my entire position on the fact that what I'm telling you works. All of this is in the Warrior Walk book, which is at warrior-walk.com. And we will, if you look at the book and you want it but cannot afford it, write to me and I will give you a free copy. This is not, we love making money, trust me. But this is not about money. This is about building a tribe. It's about helping to save people. And that's what we want. So, now, what I'd love you to do is talk to me about anything that is going on in your lives, anything that I have just said. If you need explanations of anything, or you'd like to share your process, especially if you could share, if you have victories to share, if you've been doing these things and are getting these results, what's happening? So raise your hands, volunteer, or you will be voluntold. So let's kind of get the party started. Let's see how much good we can do for you guys today. Anybody? Yes, Jason. Your sound? I still cannot hear you. I can see you. Okay, while Jason is trying to get that together, does anybody else have their hand up? Ah, don't you love technology? Okay, well, let Jason work with that. If he has any questions and he can't get in, put the question in chat, and we'll answer it in chat. So, let's see. Michelle.
Hi.
Hi
Hello,
there. How are you?
everybody. I'm good. I just incorporated last night I have a set of alarms on my phone, which is my to-do list. So actually I started this yesterday because I did this yesterday and the first time I incorporated your three committed actions into my alarm list. So yesterday I counted those as 3 points, and then today I counted another three because I had, three committed actions on my list of to-dos. And so I really feel like those have helped me prioritize, like this is a thing that is part of the path that's going to help me, you know, finish my screenplay by the end of this quarter.
Yeah, if you say
So
you want to
yeah.
have your screenplay finished by the end of
Hmm.
this quarter, then how many days, how many
Yeah.
pages, how much
My
work do you
committed
need to do every day?
action is 5 pages, and I'm almost done with what I'm calling Act 2A. So I'm committing to do probably Sunday because tomorrow's Comic Con, but I'm committing to finish this last 10 pages so I can get to the last two acts of
Okay, so
the
you're at the
screenplay.
mid-act climax.
Hmm.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah.
And the mid-act climax in a story exists because the second act is usually the problem. It's the longest
Mhm.
and that's where the story can start sagging. Okay,
Yeah,
like a
that I
long
feel that.
bridge. So what
Yeah.
you need is the mid-act climax is a hopefully an organic, but if not artificial, boost to
Right.
the story. You know, it maybe you can bring a climax of your B story. A B character has a real thing, or maybe your character discovers something, or maybe you're really doing a four-act structure or five act.
Yeah.
Remember that acts are kind of artificial.
Right.
They're actually very slippery to figure out
Mhm.
what goes where. So it's a
Yeah.
conceptual tool. This is how it starts, and at the end of the first act, the character knows that they have to take an action and they have engaged. The the second act is the mass of the work that they do, the things that they do that allows them to move forward, to discover their circumstance, to learn about themselves. The beginning of the third act is at the end of the second act, you finally get to the point where it's all or nothing. And
Mhm.
now we're gone, we're totally moving. We're out of control. That the bobsled is going down the slope. And now the character has to navigate the passage. Whatever emotional strain or physical risk you come up with, this is where the rubber meets the road. And then about halfway through that last act, you have the absolute point of no return, all or nothing. It's about to happen. If I don't make a decision right now, it's all gone. And then the character will make their decision. They'll get their reaction from the world, and then the rest of the story is just unwinding the emotions that you built up, the denouement. So that pattern of building up the tension until the person has to act,
Mhm.
their actions, which take them to a point of crisis, their attempt to resolve the crisis, their climactic absolute action. You know, it's going down the Death Star. You know, this is it. Okay, um, understanding what those different points represent and what are the trivial action beats or the deep emotional beats, because you can use all emotional events take place, have a rise and fall as well. They're not necessarily divided up into acts. That's
Yeah.
what makes it easy for you to write it. It makes it easier for you to write it. Really, you're writing a unified whole, not this block, this block, this block. That's where you start. But where
Yeah.
you end is a sense of sit down and let me tell you a story.
Mhm.
Here's
That's
the
what I
story.
can feel happening as I'm
Yes,
writing. I really needed the structure to get here, to get to
yes,
these 40 some pages that I'm getting.
yes.
But I also hear in my head, like, oh, okay, I need this character to be a little more unlikable because that will help me in this journey that she's having.
There you go. I
You
can't
know,
even,
yeah,
until I know my whole story, I can't know who the people are.
yeah.
Okay. You know, and so it goes back and forth between writing and rewriting
Hmm.
and looking at where I am and what am I trying to say and what would these people really do? What would they
Yeah,
really do? The first
yeah.
draft was what I thought of off the top of my head.
Hmm.
But what would they really do? And then to continue to do that. So is there anything we can do to help you today?
I think that the I think I've been having this tension about complexity and then kind of what I've been reading about these forms and these structures that kind of demand simplicity from storytelling. Um, I can feel in my head like the underpinning, like the meaning that I'm trying to get through in the story. But then I'm wondering, like, by adhering to this structure and this idea of simplicity, um, am I going to lose complexity? Is it going to make the story something that,
Now, you see, you're don't make the mistake of confusing complexity for complication.
yeah,
A blade of grass is simple, but I could
hmm,
write an entire library on what grass is, where it came from, and how we use it, and what
yeah,
the biological structure is, and the this and that and this and that, and how it's part of this ecosystem, and what else is in that ecosystem. There's infinite complexity in anything. But first, just tell me a story. That's your first draft. Just tell the story. Don't worry about the meaning. Just tell
yeah,
your story. Then you look, say, and then if you already know the meaning, you go back and you say, does this express that meaning? Or read the story and see whether or not your unconscious mind was really doing something else. You might surprise yourself as to what the story is really about. So first, just write the story. Do not worry about any of this other stuff until you've got that first draft. This is how people block themselves. They're trying to juggle all these forms and all this and all that. No, write it. Write the first draft. Then you switch into the editor part of your brain, the analytical part of your brain, and see how that structures. Then you go back to the artist part of it. How does it feel? You go back and forth to how does it feel and what do you think about it?
mhm,
But both are valid. Okay?
yeah.
Head
Thank
and
you.
heart, but also body. Put your butt in the seat and write.
Yes, that's the exercise, and that's how I've gotten this far. I'm looking at
Excellent.
my beat board now. Like, we're almost
Yes,
there.
that's
We're
right.
almost
That's
there.
right. And so just doing the work is a victory. And make sure to
Yeah,
celebrate. Give yourself that dopamine hit. If you when you
yeah,
get your work done, celebrate. Put on some music and dance because this is hard. So if you celebrate the small victories, it makes it easy because all you have to do is stack up a bunch of good days and you have a good life. So just make today good. Okay?
yes. Thank
All
you.
right. You take care, sweetheart. Jason looks to me as if he has unmuted himself.
Hoping so.
Great. I hear you. So talk to
Excellent.
me, buddy.
All right. So, I mentioned this a little bit between us earlier, but yeah, I took your Warriors Walk book. I went through it. I'm not sad about the physical parts of my life. I'm in reasonably good shape. I'm pretty happy with the physical things in my life. I'm pretty happy with the relationship things in my life.
Great.
But my career, although I get to do all kinds of neat things, I just have not figured out how to make money. And I don't
Okay.
need to be like Brandon Sanderson rich. I just like how much does it cost to be the third or fourth thing I think about whenever I look at any
Well,
opportunity.
you need to decide how much money you're prepared to make. Study the people who make that kind of money and find out whether or not you are willing to pay the price they paid.
Okay.
Now, my guess is that unless you're talking about tens of millions of dollars, there are plenty of role models of people who do creative things and have been very, very successful. You want to get to the point where money becomes a tool
Mm-hmm.
rather than a stumbling block.
Yes.
Okay. So, how much money would that take every year for you?
Oh, if I was making 200, that
Okay.
would between
So you
that
want to make
would be
so
great.
$200,000 would put you in that territory. Fine. So what you need to do is if you use the magic formula, first of all, commit to that morning ritual because that helps you know what helps support whatever you're doing that day, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the magic formula, which is what you think about in the third step, you think about the mind and then the steps of magic. The first thing in magic formula is your role model. Who or what are you modeling? Look at the people who have been successful at the thing you want to do. What is it that you want to do to be the engine of your success?
I think the safest family on the block project, getting it from just having the book out to doing some coaching, I've got a curriculum for martial arts schools I'd like to see get off the ground.
Okay, so you want to do it by coaching?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because there are people, so what you're looking for is a mentor, a role model who makes way over $200,000 coaching and has also coached other people to making $200,000.
Okay.
Okay, and there are a number of people like that. Off the top of my head, Brendan Burchard strikes me as being a good guy, and he actually I saw a couple days ago, and he makes at least $10 million a year, and he has coached other people into helping their coaching business. And I believe that right now, if you went to YouTube and Googled Brendan Burchard coaching, you would probably find his coaching blueprint where he actually teaches you what he does. Now, needless to say, he wants you to buy one of his programs. But the way these people work is they give you so much for free that you can see, well, he give me this for free. If I pay him, he'll give me even more. So what you're looking for is the person who kind of speaks your language. What is the coach who is teaching? So let's say that what you want to do is Zoom coaching with groups where you put on a webinar or you put people in a coaching program that lasts months where they are learning from you how to accomplish the result that you have either gotten or have studied other people who got it. You don't have to be the guy. You can study the guys. You really can. If you become an expert on how to succeed and you have not yet succeeded, you become then a researcher. This is what Chuck Norris did to build his brand. This is what Ed Parker did to build his brand. This is what this people did. Look at the common threads here. This is how you can start from nothing and get here. Listen to me. I have done the work for you. That's the whole thing. So you need to understand marketing. You need to know exactly what you're going to be selling. It was said that you need three things to make money. You need a product or service, a unique selling proposition. What is it that you are offering that no one else can offer? It can't be that your product is cheaper. It can't be that, because you're looking for people who can pay you enough money that you can provide them with real value and make $200,000 a year, right? So you're going to have to charge them some money. So your market then might be every single martial arts every single martial arts school owner in the country might conceivably be your potential audience. But then you would have to offer them something unique, something that nobody else is offering. So you'll have to think about that. So the first thing is your unique selling proposition. The second thing is your avatar. Who is your perfect client? Who is your perfect client? And a guy named Dan Kennedy is the one who taught this stuff. And Dan Kennedy's stuff is currently being marketed by a guy named Russell Brunson, who owns ClickFunnels. He gives away a huge amount of information because he wants you to use his software. Okay, so he doesn't make his money teaching you; he makes his money getting you to use his software. Okay, so he's also, I think, a really interesting guy. So you need unique selling proposition, your avatar, and your avatar is not, well, it's people who do this. No, your avatar is one person. Who is the perfect person? It would be a martial arts school, it might be a martial arts school owner who is 40 years old. He's frustrated. He's tried everything. He's never been able to get above, $80,000 a year. And he was looking for someone who'll teach him how to get to $200,000 a year. He is college educated. He's married. He's a 4th degree black belt in Shotokan, whatever it is. But your avatar is a person, not a class of people. Because when you do your marketing, you're talking to one person who desperately needs you. If you do that, you'll emerge at the universal. You want to be speaking from your heart. Once again, either with what you have accomplished or what you have studied carefully. You could just read Think and Grow Rich. You could literally, because it's public domain now, you could rewrite Think and Grow Rich for martial arts school owners. You could do that. You just go through the whole thing and take out examples that don't work and put in your research, and you'd have a branded product to sell as well as a course to help them understand it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You could use that as your free giveaway to get them into your course. There's all sorts of things you can do. But that's the M in magic, is to model someone who has already done the thing you're trying to do. Do not try to reinvent the wheel. You will not live long enough. And if you're trying to do something no one else has ever done, you study people who've done things that no one else ever did. There's always a model. There's always a model. You have to believe that your belief needs to be, I don't know how to do this yet. I don't know how to do this, but I'll learn. As long as you believe that you can learn what you need, you can accomplish almost anything if you actually, you know, all of my success in life, to the degree that I've had success, has come from my ability to believe that I can learn and seek out people who can teach. That's it. And I find those people and I say, teach me, Sifu. I mean, really, that's what I did with my martial arts. It's what I did in writing. You know, now, it wasn't exactly that easy with the relationships. I floundered there because I wasn't consciously applying the pattern. But if I'd been interested in getting better at relationships, I would have studied people who've been successful in relationships for 20 years. Who's still in love in 20 years? What do they do? What do they think? What do those women think about men? What do those men think about women? That would have saved me massive amounts of pain. Massive amounts of pain, but I didn't do it. I had to learn by trial and error and then finally go back and start looking at what they said and say, oh, okay, now I'm on the right path. Now I'm on the right path. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So every morning, your thing is get in touch with your body, be grateful for life. You know, just really feel the gratitude. Feel your heartbeat. Be grateful for love, the love that you give, the love you receive, and your love for yourself. Be grateful for another day in which to strive, you know, and just, you know, look at the magic formulas, go through it in your mind, map or mentor, actions, gratitude, intention, my child self. Write down the 3 things you're going to do by noon or by 1 o'clock to move your life forward 1% this week. Then you do a sun salutation or some other form of ground engagement. I like sun salutations because they have great depth and you can modify them for any skill level. A person who is confined to bed can literally just visualize themselves doing it and twitch the muscles they can along with a video or along with their imagination of it. Sun salutations. I remember when I was destroyed after my health thing last year and confined to bed, couldn't even get myself into the wheelchair. And they put me in rehab. And I told them that if I could do 5 sun salutations, I'd be able to do everything that they were asking these people to do in rehab. You know, all the walking, all the moving, all the lifting, everything. I wanted to focus on that. And I finally found a therapist who was willing to let me try it. And so I focused right there. And it made all the difference in the world. They released me from rehab 8 weeks early because of the program in the Warrior Walk. Okay? So, do you feel like you have enough right now to keep you going for the next week?
No.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Outstanding. Thank you so much.
You bet. All right, that was good. You see why it was good? It was specific. He said that he wants to do this thing. It's a good goal. It's a life-changing goal. Wow, benefits everything. Is he willing to provide value? Absolutely. It's easy to help somebody like that. You see that? So, who's next? Or you can ask me any question about anything that's going on that we've talked about or that you would like to talk about. That this is your time. This is the time I take out of my schedule every week because you guys help me clarify what it is that I need to move forward. Because right now, to be honest, I'm terrified. I am scared to death. So I have to use that fear to motivate action. As long as I use my fear to motivate action, it does not paralyze me by definition. So go ahead and feel the fear. I'm not pretending I'm not afraid that this challenge isn't blowing my mind. Mo, I figured that we get a little Mo today.
Hey, everything in Mo.
That's right.
It's great coming in. I was a little late handling business and being at an 8 today.
Great.
With
See,
everything I did.
fantastic. And here's the promise I'll make to you. Get 8s for a week in a row. See what happens. If you do that, you will start noticing serendipity increasing, synchronicity increasing. It's bizarre. I don't know exactly what it is, except that I think that it's when you're in tune with with nature. The currents of life carry you. The currents of life carry. You don't have to do it all yourself. What you have to do is be operating in alignment with, you set your sails to catch the wind. You aim your canoe downriver. You find the wind, you find this. You can learn how to set your sails to go in a different direction, but that requires craftsmanship.
Hmm.
So, what can we do for you today? And I want you to be as direct as possible. No
Hmm.
wandering around, Mo. Come straight at me.
Wow. Today, the only thing I can ask is everyone send good energy and good vibes. Just as I told you in the private messages about an artist who contacted me, Taj Mahal, and everything with that. And even you were talking about serendipity. Just when I was writing this morning, the story um, that was in the news about the pig heart on the tree. And it helps me writing what you're saying in stages in the arc. And I'm not being as um, trying to go everywhere. So with my
Yeah.
character and my short story, I'm taking it a little bit at a time and reading that story in the cemetery here in Atlanta that actually happened.
Look, Mo. Let me
Yeah,
stop for a second, just for a second. First of all, you're doing great. This is fun.
thank you.
When we are confused about what to do, that generally means our values are not clear.
Mm,
Okay, it's like this and this and this all have the same value to you, but they never really do. You just haven't looked closely enough. There was a recent situation where there were competing values. Who do I be kind to? No matter what I did, somebody was going to consider me to be unkind.
mm.
So my attitude was, is it true that I'm being as kind as I can be? The second thing is being kind is important, but you can't take care of the whole world at one time. You have to take care of yourself first, and then take care of your family, and then take care of your neighborhood. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
what I saw was that yes, there were different forms of kindness, but my primary responsibility is to protect the children of my tribe. That's my primary responsibility. Anything that endangers the children of my tribe is automatically on the other side of the line. And whereas I don't want to be mean or cruel or vicious to them, I have to remember what my primary responsibility is. What is it? What did I say it was, Bo?
To take care of your tribe.
No, that's not what I said. I said to take care of the children of my
The
tribe.
children. Yes, the
Yes,
children of tribe. Yes.
critical that you get clear on these things. So as you have all these different things tugging you from different directions, regardless of your caring for your sons is the most might be the most important value. That means you not only have to take care of them directly, but you have to provide them with security and you have to provide them with a role model. And it's a role model of clarity. Your sons are going to be unclear to the degree that their father modeled lack of clarity to them. And they will begin to get clearer when you do. Now, this is not absolutely true. Once they're adults, they have their own responsibility. But we know that if they don't blame you for their lack of clarity, it's easy to kind of look inside yourself and say, yeah, I could have been clearer. And I want you to find that place that's willing to take the responsibility. Because what you want, the job of being a father, will also make you a better man. And being a better man makes you a better human being. Being a better human being also opens the door to being successful while being in alignment with your values. Taking care of what you take care of is not contrary to being healthy physically, being loving and open to people, and making that bag. Money, nothing works like money in the arenas in which money works. It is the fuel of the adult world. If you can't face that, you cannot have a goal to make enough money. You cannot. You must have a goal of abundance because things always go up and down. What happens if you're sick for 6 weeks? What happens if you get a financial emergency? What happens if the roof blows off your sister's house? You have to have resources. So you say to yourself, however much money you think you need, 50% more than that should be your goal. A goal that requires you to become a better version of yourself. A goal that forces you to wake up every morning and find the best version of yourself. So your 5-minute ritual is about being grateful for life because gratitude is the antidote for fear. Yes, you will have aches and pains, but I'm grateful to be alive. That you give thanks for the love you have for yourself, the love you can give others, and the love they can give you. There will be a war. You look at the news and you see all sorts of stuff. If you don't center yourself before you let the news in, the world will tell you who you are. If you don't want the world telling you who you are, you have to tell yourself who you are. And every single damn morning. That way, once you get that ritual, and you're doing the sun salutation, you're doing the writing, you're doing this, give that to CJ. And now you are a partnership. You're doing it together. And every day you're reinforcing each other. He's reminding you, you're reminding him. Okay? Then
Absolutely.
you can turn around and your other son, who I know you love desperately, you can't see how
Oh,
to help
God.
them, you will find the ways to begin to help him take responsibility for his emotions, for him to believe in himself enough to not be in panic all the time. And if it's nothing more than, son, I am your safety net. And when you're out of here, when you come back to me, I'm going to provide you with this kind of safety, but you're going to have to do these things. And there's a part of him that will rebel, and another part of him that will say, thank God.
Hmm.
Thank God. Thank you for being
Hmm.
strong enough, Dad. He wants it's like a bratty kid who is really saying, dominate me. And he doesn't want to be hit. He doesn't want to be struck, slapped, cursed at. But if you wrestle him, if you say, let's wrestle, and you control him and you hug him, he knows his father loves him and is strong enough to control him. And if his father is not strong enough to control him, how is his father going to be strong enough to protect him from the outside world? It,
Oh, I mean, you've hit everything there, even with the situation I had, and I was racked with guilt because of growing up my own trauma with my dad. And when Victor attacked me, I just froze. I mean, I know martial arts moves, I studied it and everything. I just froze because I didn't
yeah,
want to
but you
hit
weren't you
him.
weren't going to break his nose. You
Oh,
know,
well, he was near the granite countertop in the house. At
yes.
that time when he attacked me, I could have done something. He could have hurt. I almost all of a sudden my mind shifted
So
to if
here's
I
the
do
whole
this,
thing.
this, and this, he'd have been hurt.
Okay, in the Stoics talk about premeditatio malorum. Whatever the worst case scenario is, don't shy away from it.
Mm.
Imagine it and say, this is exactly what I'll do. This is exactly what I should have done. And this is what I'll do next time. And if you need more, for instance, if you were to go down this path, if you were to need more grappling skill, you get into a damn grappling class. Go
Exactly.
take some judo. Go take some Brazilian jiu-jitsu because he needs that. He needs the container in which it is safe to be a child. You are that container. Your home is that container. He is then safe to rage, to do this, to that, to dream, to fantasize, but you have the discipline. You will take these actions as long as you're in this house. He does not want to go out and sleep in the street.
He had to,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. So
But
so if you're going to help him, you could decide to cut it to tough love and cut the cord. You could, but if you decide to help him, then you have to ask yourself, what is the man who can help him? And then you have to commit to being that man because you have taken that responsibility. That is then your virtue. You can decide to do otherwise, but if you decide to do it, then damn it, you have to do it. Okay?
um, I guess I totally agree. I wanted to say this when you were talking about money. Um, and Helen Gurley Brown had said, "Money does not buy happiness, but you can sure rent it."
Yeah.
You
The
know,
first hundred
and you,
thousand dollars a year buys happiness, approximately.
well, that when I was talking to Taj Mahal, we were talking about FU money and excuse me, drop dead money and FU money. Where do you want to be, Maurice?
Yeah.
Period. That's all I have to
There
say.
you go. You want to talk to the people who've been around that long. See, one of the greatest tragedies in terms of marriages, relationships, is 12-year-olds being taught what to think about sex by 15-year-olds.
Oh God, yes.
No, you want to talk to your grandfather who is still happily married to your grandmother. That person will tell you about sex and mating and gender and all those things from a completely different position. But talk to your grandmother too.
Oh, my grandmother, we have family members, everybody, many people, I'll say my family, have plenty of LGBTQ members in my family, and they talked to grandma. Grandma talked to them about contraception. She died at
Right.
96. The whole thing.
That's
She
right.
had no issue with it.
So you are in the
None.
position, you look in the damn mirror, look at the gray in your beard. You are becoming an elder of your tribe.
They
Don't
call me
pretend
Unc.
that you're not. Huh?
They called me Unc when I
Yeah.
lived on Campbell Road because they saw how I was working with the teens and stuff like
So
that. They
so
said, "What's
it,
up, Unc?"
so you visualize what is that? What is that energy? What is that person? That is who you're supposed to be. That's the natural force of life, and that's what your sons need. It's like when you don't take that responsibility, it's like you're stuck on a ladder. Your son is crawling up behind you. Until you keep moving, he doesn't have a ring to climb to.
Hmm.
He is stuck in his position because you are stuck in yours.
Hmm.
So you've run out of time to close your eyes to your own potential. You need to look and the obstacles that stand between you and doing that ritual every morning. Write down your damn obstacles. Okay? Listen,
James Baldwin said, "You don't tell life; life tells you." But you can do some things with that. But I
well,
thank you,
here's the whole
Stephen.
thing. We went over breath, heartbeat, mind, your goals, and a sun salutation. Now, and what I wrote then was you can do all this in 300 seconds or less than 1% of your day. Why won't you do it? Whatever answer just came to you, write it down. That's not an excuse. That's curriculum. That's data. That's what you have to work on next. When you take a look at this very specific 5-part structure that takes less than 1% of your day, and people keep saying, I do this and I get these wonderful results. Why won't you do it? Why can't you remember it? Why don't you have it written on a chart on your damn wall? Because,
One, sorry.
okay, because whatever has stopped you from doing this, it's the exact same thing that stopped you from achieving your other goals. And that means that you can examine your soul almost free of charge, very easily, by setting yourself a discipline that you know that no one could do what I just said and not begin to shift positively. The part of you that does not want to shift or does not believe you can shift or does not believe you can deserve to shift will sabotage your efforts every time. Every time I talk to you and you tell me all this other stuff, you are simply telling me why it is that you don't succeed. Oh,
Mhm.
okay, because he can't stay focused. Oh, because he distracts himself. Oh, because of this, because of that. What what I want is for you to start noticing it. I distracted myself again.
I
How
have noticed that.
how can I improve my ability to focus by 10 times? Let me study the people who are focused and see what they do. Okay? That
Very well.
that I want you to succeed for your own sake and for the sake of your children. And if I'm not the teacher for you, I want you to find that teacher. But if I am the teacher for you, do what I ask you to do. Empty your
Uh,
cup
mhm.
and do it.
Steve, I just this last thing in discipline. There's a song Bobby McFerrin. He sang it with his father, Robert McFerrin, the baritone. It was called Discipline, and for those who do not have it, no discipline seems better at the time. And they talk about so prayer patches on your knees because I realized that if you don't have discipline, discipline will be forced upon you in order to survive. But the day
Yeah.
before yesterday, my father actually, for the first time in my life, I'll be 59 in August. He said he was proud of me,
Yes.
and as I
That's
mentioned,
hugely important. I did not hear that from my father until he was dying.
yeah,
And I can tell you that's hugely important. And let's just celebrate that Mo got that feedback. That's wonderful.
Thank
You
you.
are worthy of love. There is a child inside you who has been just dying to hear that he was worthy of being loved. When my father left, and my mother almost never dated again, but I remember one of the very few men that she had over to the house was sitting on the couch. They were sitting on the couch, and there was a love seat behind the couch. I don't know how old I was. I'm guessing I might have been 5. I don't know. And I was laying on the love seat behind the couch, and I was just praying that he would look back and see me and maybe reach down and touch my head. And my thought was, am I so hideous that no one wants to be my daddy?
Mm.
See, the answer is to be your own dad and
Yep.
to love yourself every day, and then to encourage CJ the same way, and to be able to exemplify that to the point where you're blazing it on fire with this notion of what it is to be a righteous man, a virtuous man, and that you begin to set the people around you on fire. Because there is so much confusion about that. What are the roles of men and women, and what is a human being, and what is this, and what is that? Don't waste time arguing about what it is to be a virtuous man. Be one.
Thank you, Steve. It reminds me of my high school play where I had the lead. We did Carousel, and there's a song, "Stone cutters cut it on stone, wood cutters cut it in wood." There ain't nothing worse for a woman than a man who thinks he's good.
I'll buy that. Now, here's the interesting thing. You've brought up music multiple times here. I suspect that that is a good thing. That is a route into a place in your heart that is very pure. So, when you have this opportunity, you're going to have an opportunity to play harmonica.
Yes, with Taj Mahal, April 14th, Variety Playhouse. And here's the funny thing, Steve. 21 years ago, when I opened for him, it was my friend Sammy Blue on dobro, steel guitar, Little Joe Burton, who worked with Junior Wells and B.B. King, and I was on harmonica, and I was a journeyman starting up. And he said, and I was only supposed to do one song, and then Sammy was like, Gmo, playing that C-Mo. All of a sudden, I played the entire set, and Taj gave me my name. It was 21 years ago, and that is when the boys were born. I had gotten out
Okay.
to do that
All right.
show, and now we're here again, and CJ's coming to
So,
see it, and we're
so,
going backstage.
so, how much do you have to practice every day or every week in order to be at your best when this opportunity comes?
I have to practice a minimum of 1 hour per day. And when I say practice, it's also when you play harmonica, it's about breathing. It's breath. Either you
Yes, I
suck
know
or you
that.
blow.
So
You
here's
suck
what
or
I
you blow.
suggest to you. Here's what I suggest to you that you don't have to do it all at one time. If you divide 5 into 60, you get 12. So if you were to take five, I remember the breathing 5 times a day. If you were to do 5 minute breaks with the harmonica, you'd get more
Oh,
results
that's
than if you
good.
did it all 20 minute, all hour at one time.
I
Because
never thought of that.
because
I
of
never thought of
of
that.
some very, that neurosynaptic facilitation, synaptic
Yeah.
facilitation. So you could do that, and you simultaneously be practicing your breathing because you breathe diaphragmatically. You do
Hmm.
this. You do it 5 times a day. Bob's your uncle. Bingo, you got it.
Hmm. And
That
I want. I'm sorry. I know you've been spending a lot of time here with me, and I hope everyone is just hearing this. But part of my morning ritual, believe it or not, and as I said, it helps with my writing, is I do watch the old TV shows like Bonanza. And
no,
one
that's
thing
not your
I did,
morning ritual. No, that is not
well,
your morning ritual.
no, it's not. It's part of my thought when I'm writing.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fine.
that's what I
That's fine.
mean.
Okay,
And so there were two things I saw. If a man has a price on their head, then he put it on them.
right.
I like that one. And looking and writing, watching the show that was on for 14 seasons, and they had consistent characters and are the different arcs from silliness to seriousness. And you're looking at when I'm serializing and writing my story that I've told you about. I'm not sharing any more about that, but that's very important
Okay,
to me
well, as
for me
long
to
as you're
understand.
reading, you have to
Yes.
read 10 stories for every story you want
Mhm.
to write. And that is consistent. You can watch as much movies and television as you want,
Mhm.
but reading is critical. Okay?
The reading is there. Thank
All
you
right.
so much, Dave.
Good, Mo. Take care, buddy.
You
And
too,
we're
man.
going to move on. All right. So, what can I discuss or bring up? So, Daniel is on here. He often, if you would like to come on camera, Daniel, I would be happy.
Hello.
I'd be happy to, ask me a question that has to do with what we've been talking about, which is get your damn 5 minute morning ritual together. No excuses, none of the other stuff. Grow up. Let's have it.
I don't have a question. I think I just do it.
You think what?
I don't have a question. I think I will start doing it tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. But in order to do it tomorrow, walk yourself through it today. Okay, really important
Yes.
that you
I mean,
breathe and connect with gratitude for being alive. Heartbeat and give gratitude for love and loving yourself. Mind, think through what the steps of the magic formula mean. Write down the three things you're going to accomplish by 1 o'clock tomorrow, whatever. So it's rehearsal for what you're going to do tomorrow, and then a sun salutation. You do all this other stuff, that's fine. Do a sun salutation. It's easy for you. Look it up on YouTube. You're an athlete. It will not be difficult for you. But this time, do it my way. In that way,
um,
every time you shift to something different, we'll both see it.
the magic formula I only use for the third step, not for the heart and breath step. I
No, you
only
don't
use
have,
it
no,
for.
it's just, see, the magic formula is contained in all these things. This is a model of how to achieve. This is an action. This does produce gratitude. It is both a goal and a support for your goals. And you are getting in touch with your child self. So the magic formula is both an acronym and it's a space, an energetic space. So you're spending 5 minutes in a magical space, but you only think about it
Okay. So,
explicitly on the third step.
so I use it for all three goals.
Well, it's always there. I mean, it's like you feel gratitude for life. That's not a goal. You're grateful for life. You feel grateful for love. That's not a goal. You're grateful for love. When you get to your head, you give gratitude for hope and possibility. Now, let me think about what the magic formula steps are. And if you wanted to, you could say magic is mapper model, action, gratitude, intention, and child. Or you could say M is for model, and my models are what I do. My models are Steve Muhammad, Larry Niven, and Jordan Peele. Action I'm going to take today is I'm going to teach this. I'm going to teach the Lifewriting Live, and I'm going to work on the book with Larry Niven, and then I'm going to celebrate and have a meeting with my son, and I'm going to have a date night with my wife. My goals are to master this new martial art, to help my son to become a fully integrated male man, to let my wife know to be the best possible partner for my wife. Um, and then I write those things down, or the things that have to do with what I'm going to do today by 1 o'clock. And then I do a sun salutation. Okay, that's what I do. So you can think about those things. If you just think about what the steps are in the magic formula, you don't necessarily have to think about how you can apply them. But you will probably begin to think that way once you've got them memorized. Right now, as long as you're fumbling with it, no. But as soon as you've got it wired tight, it's like a game of Tetris, where as soon as the bottom row is solid, it disappears. As soon as it goes down to unconscious competence, there's a part of you that will say, "What's next?" That's just the way we are. Okay?
Yeah, but what I observe as I'm in a different surrounding, I'm not in Germany right now, and it makes things easier because I can explore in an area I'm not used to. And the interesting thing is I'm scared to death all the time because I'm forced to leave my patterns. I'm forced because I have to move, because I have to push things forward. And I always may remember you very often wrote, I'm not the voices in my head. And the interesting thing is now I act despite of those voices, like totally off identity. And it's a very interesting process. The more I act out of identity, the more I reach results I'm not used to. But my old identity makes me feel bad, painful, fearful. So I'm fully on track. I feel it. I'm making the best out of my situations, but the reward for my old identity is
So let me
fear
ask you
and
a
pain.
question. Daniel, stop.
Stop me.
Let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
How long does it take for you to notice that you've fallen into an unresourceful thought pattern? In other words, when it happens, is it like it washes over you for hours and then you think to yourself, "Oh God, I did it again," or does it start and then you think to yourself within a couple minutes, "Oh, there I am again."
It's more like I'm already observing it. It's more like, for example, today I was in a state of fear for 6 hours,
For six
and
hours.
I realized,
Okay.
hey man, I don't think negative things. I'm more like observing it positively. Something is
Okay.
changing. I see,
Okay.
my
Look.
God,
So
the
Daniel,
old
stop.
identity.
Daniel, stop. Daniel, stop. So the instant you notice yourself in a negative pattern, what physical action, not thought, what physical action could you take to shift your emotions?
I just stand up and walk to someone I don't know. I mean, there are
That,
many
that
people
might be it.
around here.
Put
Just
on a
say
song you
hello
like
or
and
whatever.
dance. You like to dance? Do you like to dance?
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to do that in the middle of the road.
No. Okay. But you could change your breathing. See, your emotions are created by three things: the way you use your body, what you focus your mind on, and the language you use to yourself. Of the three, the body is the most powerful. So the instant you notice that you're thinking negatively, what is the most resourceful way to breathe you can? In other words, what is the posture of confidence? What is the facial expression of confidence? What is the breathing pattern of confidence? You do that for 10 breaths. Every time you notice yourself slipping into the negative, deliberately replace it with a positive behavior. And what will happen is, first of all, you will start noticing yourself slipping faster and you'll start cycling through it faster. So there's the negativity again. Let me shift. There's a negativity again. Let me shift. You learn to shift. It's
Mhm.
not that you're not going to feel negative, it's that you don't stay there. You give yourself 5 minutes to be negative and then you shift. Okay? All right. Thanks. All right, Che.
Yo. Um, all right. This is not a question. This is actually just I wanted to thank you for something that came from like a writing thing you did a while ago. One of my like side gigs is sometimes I teach like a class at like a media center, and I have taught this like one session screenwriting class a bunch, and a bunch of the students were like, "Hey, like we'd like to do like we want to do more, like we want more." And I was like, "Okay, you want to know what? I'll set up a session, it's like off the books. It's just a session for us to talk." And you taught us about using like the chakras as a way of examining like where your characters like blockages are and how they need to advance to the next level. And so I was like, yo, I learned this thing from Stephen Barnes, author and screenwriter, about chakras and how this is another like lens that you can use to look at your characters, like, their needs or wants or like their mistaken beliefs or whatever their hangups are. And, like a couple of the students were like, either they did yoga or they were, like into Vedic stuff or whatever. And they like really resonated with it. And then at the end of the class, what we're talking about, like we're analyzing a script, and one of the students was like totally like busted out the chakra thing and it was like, yeah, so she's got a block in her sacral chakra and you can see because she's messing up with like her relationship with her friends and with blah, and like her own creative endeavors are failing. And I was just like, I felt really both gratified that like a student got it, but also I just wanted to express thanks for that lens that you provided me that
It's
I was able to share.
I'm uh totally grateful to you sharing that with us. Uh, Somebody needs to turn their sound off. We're getting an echo here. Um, so what I would say about that, let me just check and see if. Oh no, everybody's.
Oh, I'm hearing that. Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
mess.
check. Yeah,
My
mute,
sound might be
mute
bugging.
yourself for a second. Okay, you muted. Okay, so what you need is to have a number of different models. I got models coming out of my ears, and it's great. If we want to talk about character, we could talk about, body, mind, spirit. We could talk about Maslow's hierarchy. We could talk about the chakras, any number of different things. Transactional analysis, Freudian analysis, Jungian analysis. None of them are actually people. All of them are ways of talking about people. The more different ways you have, the less likely you are to cling to one model saying, this has to be it. And you will find that if you shift, every time you shift models, you learn something new about the character. Every single time. That every level of the 7 levels of the chakras will tell me all about this person and their survival fear. This is what they're afraid of, and this is what they're likely to die of, and this is what they do for their bodies, and this is all what you're doing is you're sharing with your students the models that you use and inviting them to engage with you. And then if they do engage with you, they will get their own data. So when I ask you to do your morning ritual, the secret thing that I'm doing is giving you something that is very real in the sense of I'm trying to simplify it as much as possible. But if I could simplify it to be shorter than 5 minutes, I don't think I would. That you might need to do that with your own child. But I'm not interested in dealing with children. I'm interested in dealing with adults. I don't have enough energy to give the energy that I give to you and to Daniel and to Mo and 1,000 other people who are not willing to take responsibility for themselves. If you're willing to take responsibility for yourself, you're willing to carry your own log, I will help clear the path for you to carry your log. Point out the path where you can carry the log on. You showed them a tool. The ones that actually applied it, those are the ones who learned. You just saw that student-teacher transmission in real time. Felt good, didn't it? Or more the point, feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. For
that's right.
sure. Yeah.
So, blessings to you.
Thank you, Sifu.
Namaste. You bet. All right. So, mute yourself again because we got a big echo there, boy. And who else can I help today? Orion. I love it when Orion talks. Unmute. You're still muted. Still muted. You click on that little button at the bottom left side of your screen. The little microphone, red microphone with the line through it. Okay, so what you do then is please put your question into chat so I can address it because I definitely want to address to do that with you. Okay, so let's see. Stephen Bauer.
What's up, Steve?
Not a whole lot. You might be the last question today.
Well,
Maybe.
I didn't really have a question.
Okay.
I'm enjoying all the global chaos and volatility.
Oh boy.
It it uh, it helps keep me balanced when the rope moves underneath you.
Oh,
It makes you work on staying balanced, and
okay.
staying balanced is good work. And so I choose to view it through that lens, in that it's just a little sideways shuffle, and that's what it takes to be balanced. If the floor never moved, would you really be balanced, or
Well,
would
what
you
you're
just be
saying
in
is that you
steady
thrive
state?
you thrive on dynamic balance. I can live with
Absolutely.
that. That's great. Okay, well, if there isn't anything, I want to make sure. Uh, did Orion post anything in chat? If she has, when you've posted Orion, lift a thumbs up or reach out to me later. Lisa, is Lisa there? Oh,
Hello. Which one?
hello. I'm fine, Lisa.
Isn't there more than one Lisa?
Huh?
Is there more than one Lisa
Nope, there's just one.
today? Okay.
There's
Let me see
just
if my camera works.
okay.
Let's
So,
see what happens.
Lisa,
Hey, I
what
am there. Hi.
great. So, what
It's
can I
been a
do for you
while.
today? Oh, there you
Um,
are.
Hi.
Yay!
Yes, I am there. How about that?
So, is there anything that we've talked about today that you would like clarity on, or you want to question or challenge me on, or anything else?
No, I think just maybe a couple of shares. Um, I have been struggling with all kinds of fun things and still doing the 5 minute miracle, but not always able to do as much as I would like. So since the beginning of January, I have been doing squats every day, trying to
Wow.
rehab my knees on my own, and found out unexpectedly that it makes my lower back hurt less.
Oh,
So there have been days when I'm like, my back hurts, and I have gone to the counter and put my hands on there, and I've done squats until my back stopped hurting. I'm like, well, this is nice. I like this. This is something I can do, and it is definitely helpful and helping more than I thought it would. And Wednesday, when I was at work, I came around the corner to get my first client, and my right knee, which has been injured for over a decade, thought I was going to drop me to the floor. And I'm like, okay, what did I just do? And limped through a couple massages and then got adjusted when we both had time. And that made a big difference too. And I was telling one of my friends about it, and he's like, well, maybe you were doing too many squats. And I'm like, don't tell me that something's good for me is not good for me. And I'm like, and I understand, and I was like, what
no,
happened,
but
but
remember,
it didn't.
there's no such thing as an activity which is harmful at every dose or useful at every dose.
Right.
All activities have an expiration date and an ideal window. So it could be that there is an ideal number of squats that you do that does that. But here's the thing I'm thinking about, that if squats and breathing provide relief for your back, then the problem with your back is mechanical. Okay.
Hmm.
If the breathing alone did it, then there might be, idea that it's emotional. But if it's mechanical, then one of the people you want to go to a physical therapist or a yoga instructor and say, show me how to do a sun salutation so that it relieves my back.
Okay.
Because the sun salutation is that thing that I want everybody on here to do once a day so we can check in. It allows me to coach you from a distance. You're doing it and you're getting this result. You're doing it and you're getting this result. But you're also locking it into your body. We would like for your back to feel perfect.
That would be lovely.
Yes, it really would. So if my guess is that there are physical things that would really help you manage that, but they might lie outside your current realm of knowledge or your current realm of awareness. So this might be a time for you to talk to an expert on body movement who understands how the spine works and what exercises you can do that you're willing to do that will affect it. Or, like I said, I know that the sun salutation works very well for that, for many things. Of course, there's a possibility. Have you spoken with a doctor? Have they said there's something actually physically wrong with your back?
I have no doctor. I have no insurance. My doctor is my boss, which is my chiropractor.
Okay. Can he get you an x-ray of your back to
Yeah, he
see?
can. He
Okay.
has.
To find out because if there's nothing, if it's not like the discs are deteriorated or or cracked or anything like this, then the right movement routine should be able to give you a lot of relief. And I'm sorry that you don't have that safety net of health insurance. And I want you to set a goal of making the kind of money where you can have that. That, as a goal. So you start the reticular activating mechanism in your brain will start looking for opportunities to increase your income. And there'll be frustration and fear connected to that. But you're a big girl, you can deal with that. And it's like
When
that's
I,
the stuff's
when
gonna
I
come
first
up.
started doing the squats, I struggled to do one without holding on to anything. And I'm like, okay, I have injuries and stuff, and I could do 5 to 10 if I was holding on to the counter. I can do 5 or 10 without holding on to anything now. Um,
See,
you
that's
know,
fabulous.
Wednesday was a challenge, so that was a big deal. And there have been days because I've been doing those movement snacks that, you talk about.
Yes, yes.
There are days when I've literally rocked out, anywhere between 150 and 200 squats.
Okay, so you want to talk with your chiropractor. You want to talk to somebody who knows your body and has, and I assume that you trust them. And the question you want to ask is it better for you to do more and more and more squats, or is it better for you to stop at 20 squats and start very carefully adding weight? And develop that idea. Just like what is it that is providing the benefit? Double down on whatever it is providing the benefit. From here, I do not know. But hopefully, your boss will be able to give you excellent advice about that. If you will come back and tell us what they said, then we can continue to modify and play with this. Because, like I said, I'd love for you to be out of pain.
Absolutely. And, I was just happy about how much improvement I made in 2 months. And,
Celebrate it.
between pain and absolutely, I'm like, wow, okay, I could do this. And, to do a couple in front of someone who's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen you do this before. I'm like, yeah,
One,
this is where I'm at.
see, that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Do you like to dance?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Do you like to dance?
Maybe when I was younger.
Okay, so with the permission of your choreographer or your chiropractor, see whether or not you could put on a song that you really love and dance for 60 seconds.
Oh, there's times I'll put on one of my favorite songs and do what I can with it.
Yes, the trick is to understand your pain should never go above a 3. If that has to be modified because you might be in a certain amount of pain a lot of the time, but you look for the movement that you can do without increasing your pain. Okay, and you stay there and enjoy your body. Then you're also doing movement that is designed specifically to help you counteract whatever repetitive stress injuries or whatever. There's usually a physical component in there. But working for a chiropractor, that's a perfect person to help you understand. A perfect partner in helping you get to that next level of health in your life, which is what we want for you. Okay? Okay, she got kicked off. So Orion,
I
uh,
finally button to hit.
okay. So what was it you wanted to say, sweetheart?
Um, I've been doing a lot of scary and painful diagnostic tests. Neither here nor there, but um, being scary and painful, I found that um, diaphragmatic breathing and focus on that takes away the pain and the fear.
Great.
And it's helped me quite a bit to get through stuff.
Well, that's beautiful.
That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
And I'm glad that you're taking care of yourself.
Working on it.
Excellent. Okay, Bill Cademy, got anything for me? Nope.
So,
Hey,
um, not really. My life's just going along on automatic right now. I've been going through a series of physical therapy, but I plan on getting back on the road soon, out in my RV. That's what I want to live for, getting out
okay.
there into my photography.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Not that I can think of today.
All
Just
right.
sitting here listening in and hearing everyone else's stories helps me. So
Great. Okay.
I'm just lurking in the background here.
Sounds good. All right, people, we're going to close. So I'd like for everybody to unmute yourselves and just kind of say goodbye to everybody. It's another week.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here.
There you go. Hey, I like that, Mo.
Echo.
Play us out, Mo. Give us 10 seconds of music. Oh, your internet's breaking up. But you're having fun. That's what's the important thing. Take care, everybody. I'll see you next week. And remember to be the person you are today. Drop the fear from the past if you want to create your future. Take care, everybody.
Now is the time we dance on sprockets.
See, now I can hear you. All right. Pick up the harmonica. Let's see if we got it. No, it's the harmonica is doing something to your microphone. All right,
Say
everybody.
again.
Bye bye.
Oh, all right, bye bye.